Alright, this is John Colo with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, I'm going to share with you guys my food forest in suburbia. We're here in suburbia, as you can see, all the different tract homes with all their lawns and stuff. And I just think lawns are a waste of space, and I want to encourage you guys, if it's legal in your area, to grow some food instead of your lawn. You know, lawn takes a lot of resources. You got to mow it, or you got to pay somebody to mow it. You got to water it regularly. You got to fertilize it, and hopefully you're not putting Roundup and other chemicals or pesticides in your lawn to, prevent the weeds from coming up, because that stuff's no good in my opinion. So I'm going to give you guys an alternative and show you guys what you can do instead. As you guys can see, like, all my neighbors in the whole area have a lawn except me. And as you guys can see, I have a jungle behind me. This is literally my food forest in my front yard. Provides a lot of food for me, like 90 to 95% of my vegetable consumption. So we're just going to go ahead and give you guys a quick tour, show you guys what's growing on right now in the summer season. So next we're going to go ahead and show you guys my food forest. This is the sidewalk. My raised beds are waist height at the sidewalk, and my property is sloped. So at the sidewalk it's about waist height, and as it goes back, all the raised beds are level. So as you get to the back, because the property is sloped, it's taller in the front, and it gets down about 12 inches high in the back. And in the front bed, I like to have things that look pretty, so I just have some flowers. Many people might think these are just ornamental, but the marigolds are actually edible. They also help with some pest control. Behind here I have some celery for the root planted, and then I have a whole bunch of squash climbing up this monster trellis that I built. And I want to show you guys, like, I trellis these guys up so I could maximize the use of my space. This is literally an 8,000 square foot lot approximately. And I want to grow as much food as possible, and because I don't have a lot of land to put rows, I tend to plant things very intensely, very closely, using the square foot gardening method, and grow things vertically up trellises, in cages, and all this kind of stuff. So as you guys can see, it's working pretty good here. Just in this little area, I got a super huge banana squash, the three sisters, 1, 2, and 3. These guys are gonna be good winter squashes for me to eat during the winter time when my garden's not regularly producing. Also, I got some other squashes up here. I think these are the curry squashes as well. I've not wasted any space, and in here I have all the marigolds, and then I have a celery, celeriac, the root, and you could also eat the greens on there as well. So if you head into my garden through the main walkway, we have this main entryway here. It's like a big arbor with the trellises built in, custom built. And we're growing the runner beans, the Native American runner beans on both sides. As you guys can see, they're getting ripe this time of year. When they dry up like this, they're ready to be harvested. And I've been growing these for seed. You can eat them also. You could actually cook them, but check this out. Look at these brilliant colors on there. These guys are absolutely amazing. And I may have some of these available on my seed store that I'll put a link below to. Now, the reason why I like the Native American runner beans is because they have been a perennial crop for me. What is a perennial crop? Well, a perennial crop is a crop that you're going to plant once and it's going to continue to grow, whether it grows above the ground all year long, or like the runner beans, it'll grow during the warm season. When it gets too cold, I'll cut it back to the base, I'll mulch it really good, and then it'll come back next spring. So it's done that reliably for, I don't know, 2-3 years now. So I'm happy that I have them, and I have a constant source of the beans. I also like to eat the pods when they're baby and when they're young. They're kind of like sugar snap beans. I give these to my friend sometimes, and she'll cook those up. But generally when they're at this stage, I'll just save them for the beans themselves, because I'm a seed collector, and I want to encourage you guys to also collect, save, and distribute the seeds of the heirloom crops like the Native American runner beans that I'm growing here. For more information about the runner beans, be sure to check my other videos. I have other videos specifically on the runner beans. Let's continue into my food forest here. As you can see, this place is filled up. How I got this laid out is I got a 4-foot by 15-foot raised bed, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them all the way back. So that's a lot of real estate over on this side, because I had the pre-existing fig tree. And let's see, this guy is pretty ripe here. Let's see here, we'll find it. Whoa, man, dropped it. Don't drop the figs, it's a party foul. All right, check out this big one. This is a brown turkey fig. They get a little bit bigger, could be a little bit riper, but check it out on the inside. I want to show you guys the color on that. Look at that, man. That's a nice, juicy fig. Man, that's the best fig I've tasted all year. Grown in rock dust, and this tree is loaded up. The only caveat with the tree is that I planted this tree before I planted my whole garden, and I didn't really know about selecting the proper tree. So when you do buy a fig tree to buy and to plant in your yard, make sure it's one that's going to produce in your area and do well. This area is a little bit cooler for the fig trees, so there's certain varieties that are going to do better in the cool weather. This one would do better, you know, just 20 miles north of here. It would do a lot better because it's a lot more, you know, hot than we get here in the city. But nonetheless, I get a good couple dozen figs every year off this, and probably next year I might start grafting on other varieties that, you know, will produce reliably for me. Next, we got my tomato bed here, and this year I grew a lot of large heirloom tomatoes, and check this out, a big cluster of huge tomatoes waiting to ripen up. I think these guys are actually the white heirloom tomatoes. There's just tons of these guys. It's loaded. Generally, especially if you're new into gardening, I like to grow the cherry tomatoes, because always the cherry tomatoes, you're always gonna have some ready. With these guys, you might get one, then they might get another one, and then hopefully your season's long enough that they're all ripen up before, you know, we run out of time. So I generally like the smaller fruited varieties instead of the larger ones, as I'm yet relearning again. But I got these plants from a friend because I didn't start my tomatoes on time this year. As you guys can see, it opens up now, and now I got all my beautiful pepper plants. I'll have a video on these guys. When I got them, they were basically giveaways or throwaways from a nursery. They were like yellow, not doing well. I brought them back to life. We planted over 100 pepper plants, all different and unique varieties. A lot of gypsies this year, and some hot and some not. And you can see here, they're all doing well. I plant them in a square foot gardening method, so I use approximately 12 inches between them. Because of the way my beds are designed, I think I might have fudged that and did it like 11.5 or 11 inches in between every pepper plant, and they seem to produce really well this way for me. I like planting them fairly close because then, you know, the ground is shaded out, so we're not going to get the evaporation. I tend not to like to use a lot of mulches, you know, on the ground, because that's where bugs, snails, and slugs, and pill bugs, and sow bugs could collect and start really hurting your crops. And actually, I think there's a bug now on the lens. All right, so next we're going to take a look at a couple of the front beds. And before I go, I want to show that I have half a bed of strawberries. And yes, it does produce strawberries. See if I can find a nice ripe one today. Here's a nice little ripe strawberry. Now, I've learned that, you know, this whole bed used to be strawberries, but slowly I've been, you know, squashing the strawberries down, because I just learned that it's not effective to grow strawberries. You know, the bugs always get the strawberries. They just don't really seem to yield a lot for the space I'm invested. If I had acreage, I'd totally have a patch of strawberries, but in a small location like I'm growing here, I'd rather grow crops that are much more valuable to me, like the peppers, for instance. I'd rather grow the peppers because they sell for a lot more per pound. Actually, today at the farmer's market, you know, peppers were like, organic peppers were like $6 a pound, man. And the strawberries, they're, you know, generally, I got some like last week probably for around $1 a pound, like good organic ones. So I'm gonna let the experts do that, and I can focus on the things that are gonna cost me more money and that I could do a better job at, that the bugs won't eat as well. And I wanna encourage you guys to take the easy way out like that too when growing. So here in the front bed, we got all these guys like right here, and these guys are called Artichokes, or Bolivian cucumbers. They vine out and take over. They're really a peculiar fruit. They're kind of related to the standard cucumber, but they're totally different, because if you look inside, they're hollow inside, and they have these little black seeds. Now, when the seeds are black, they're probably mostly mature, especially if the outside is turning white. And I'm going to dry and save these seeds, because it's very important, once again, to preserve the genetic diversity. Plus, when these get kind of white on the outside and start to kind of like get a little bit moldy, I wouldn't want to eat it anyways. So, but this is perfect for saving the seed. The best time to eat the artichokes are actually when they're really small. So check this out. Here's one right here that's nice and small, little baby one. So we're just gonna go ahead and harvest this guy. And this is the perfect time to eat them. Tastes like a little cucumber, but not like a cucumber. It's something totally different that you guys never probably tasted before. When they get larger, you would pull out the seeds and then use them for stuffing, kind of like you would a pepper. Or I use them for juicing. They're nice water-rich flavor with quite a unique flavor. And you know, I tend to grow a lot of different unique and different kind of foods in my garden because once again, if I'm choosing to grow foods, I'm going to grow things money can't buy, and grow higher quality foods than money can't buy either. And I want to encourage you guys to do that also. Grow something a little bit different, because number one, it'll amaze your friends. Number two, it's just cool being different. So on the artichoke, you know, it doesn't produce like really soon. Like your cucumbers might produce sooner. These will take a while to grow, and then once they get bushed out, then they'll start flowering and setting fruit. So it'll be later half of the season. So you might want to have a fairly longer season for those guys. They are actually from South America. So next here we got a smorgasbord of stuff. We got a whole bunch of celery that I planted, and then we got a whole bunch of tomatillos that's planted in the cages here. We got some basil hanging out over in there. Let's see, these are the agretti, and it's gone to seed, so we need to harvest the seeds on these guys. So I'm saving the seeds on the agretti. Definitely a delicious plant. They self-seeded on their own, as with the artichokes. Once you plant them once, you can't get all the fruits. They drop, and then they come up on their own, so it's almost like a weed. The same thing with the agretti to a much lesser extent. They drop seeds, but then they didn't have a whole lot come back, and I wish actually more came back, because I really love that one. It's a nice, delicious, leafy green. It's known in Italy, and that's what they use them there. Next, let's see, we got this one called the wakate. So many of you guys might notice the leaf. It looks like herb that you may be familiar with. This is another plant from South America, because the climates in here are fairly similar to South America. I grow a lot of things that are similar climates. That's definitely a good one there. And this is kind of used like cilantro in South America, and has a nice, unique flavor. It's like nothing else. I mean, that's why I really like growing my garden. I mean, I get to experience all these new taste sensations that I know you guys probably never tasted. Like from South America too. Wow. It's kind of hot and spicy in a way. It kind of like lights up your mouth, but then it has like the flavor. It's not like cilantro, but it's pretty powerful and strong. But I love it nonetheless. You probably wouldn't want to make a salad of it, but just a few bits of that in a dressing would just give it a unique flavor that people have never tasted before. Now the next plant I'm going to share with you guys is the one that I'm most excited about this year. It's the first year, or actually second year that I grew it. The first time I grew it, it didn't do so well because I had it in the greenhouse and kind of got neglected. This year I planted it in the raised bed, and then I neglected it. And it's doing a lot better. Check it out. Mixed in with all the stuff here. It's right here. And this one is actually called ice lettuce. And if you do a close-up on the camera, you guys could see. Look at that. It looks like little water drops on the plant, man. But those aren't water drops. That's just part of the plant, man. It's so crazy. And it makes these little leaves. And I'll pull a leaf here for you guys. Look at that. That's the top of the leaf. And here's the bottom of the leaf. It almost looks like those little water drops. But this is totally edible. It's a succulent leaf. It has a nice, mildly salty flavor, man. This stuff is totally amazing. So currently, it's actually going to flowers. So this is how it sets the flowers like that before they open. And then now these are the flowers actually opening up right here. And with the little pollen things. And I've never eaten one of these before. So we're going to go ahead and try one, and I'll let you know how it is if I get the bug off there. Wow, nice and crunchy. Kind of sweet. It tastes like something. Tastes like a lightly fermented sauerkraut. Man, that's so good. And once again, here's more of the plant, and I really like how it almost looks kind of wet, but when you touch it, it's not wet. It's almost like it's like little dabs of like dried silicone or something on there. Totally crazy. I'll have one more leaf to go. Man, that one's kind of lemony, salty at the same time. Delicious. So besides the tomatillos that I have back here in the big wooden cage, which are still fruiting and ripening, I like to only use my tomatillos when they're completely ripe, and they'll probably turn a nice yellowish color. I do have another plant that's very similar to tomatillo, actually several of them. This is actually called Aunt Molly's ground cherry, and this one's kind of growing along the ground, or more on the bottom here. And these are also a little husk tomato type thing, a Solanaceae plant. And for these to be ripe, what you want to look for is not the ones that are in the little lanterns. You want to look for the ones on the ground, like right below. You guys could see these are on the ground. These are drops, and the papery husks have turned kind of tan color. So what we're going to do is we're just going to open the papery husk, and inside it should totally be like this color, like a nice yellow tan color, and then you'll be able to eat it. There's no tartness in there like a tomatillo. Mild sweetness. To me, these taste like some kind of little candies I used to have when I was a kid, but not quite that sweet. Now, if you try to pick them when they're not ripe, they're going to look like this. They're going to be green, and this one had fallen off. And then you're going to open it, and it's going to be green inside. Now, you can eat these. They're unripe, and I don't recommend it. And they're going to probably be tart. I'm not going to eat it today because it's going to ruin the nice sweet taste I have in my mouth. So over in this raised bed, which is the boundary to my neighbors, I have a couple trees. These are called pahoas, or pineapple guavas. As you guys can see here, this tree is just loaded up with these nice, delicious guava-like fruits. I love these a lot. These are subtropical. This tree keeps its leaves all year long, and I love them so much. I do have videos on this already, as with many of the other plants that I'm sharing with you guys today. But these are ripe when they actually drop off the tree onto the ground, and you pick them off the ground when they're a tad bit soft. They're good and ready to go. Nice tropical flavor. And they'll be ready probably like late November, December, right when all the summer fruits are out of season. So I'm really looking forward to it. Next, we're going to pivot around and show you guys what's in my second raised bed here. And this bed is my most prized bed this year. What we're looking at are some Ashitaba plants. So this is a special variety of Angelica Kiisuke, I believe. And it's from Honshu Island in southern Japan. And here's the larger ones that I planted, and they're looking quite good. Here's some smaller ones. And I want to share with you guys real quick about this plant. Let me see if I could find a good example here. Oh, here we go. So normally I just harvest the leaves. You could just harvest the baby leaves and eat them. The other thing I like to do is actually just harvest the whole stem and stalk. And why this is so beneficial is because it has what's called chalcones. To my knowledge, there's no other plants that have the chalcones in there, and the chalcones are simply this. We're going to break this open, and I'm going to hold that in front of the camera. So yeah, you guys see that stuff? It's the yellow stuff oozing out. Those are known as the chalcones. And you know, like if you cut me, I'd bleed red. Well, this plant bleeds yellow. But the yellow is actually a very important nutrient for me in this plant. They've done a lot of research in Japan about it. And actually they'll sell like dried Ashitaba in the health food store like powder for like, I don't know, a ton of money, like, I don't know, $100 a pound dried stuff. But you could simply grow it yourself and eat it. My favorite way to eat it is if you just take it. There's a couple ways. You could take it and just chew it. But then it's really fibrous, and if you're chewing the outside green part, it's a bit bitter too. So I don't like that, but what I like to do instead is I like to take the stalk and peel it away, kind of like you would peel your celery, so it doesn't get stuck in your teeth, right? And it'd be better if I had a knife instead of doing it, but I'm too impatient to go inside and get a knife. And I just peel the outer stuff away, and then I'm literally getting the Ashitaba marrow, kind of like the bone marrow, like the middle of the plant. This is where it transports like all the liquids and nutrients. And then I'm just gonna simply bite this middle part off. Now you're not getting that bitterness on the outside. Kind of tastes just like celery, tad bit sweet, but a tad bit medicinal at the same time. I love all these weird things I'm growing. So besides my Ashitaba that I'm growing, and this is a perennial, it's hardy actually down to 20 degrees. I'm growing a tropical next to it, and this is actually known as sugar cane. They're getting kind of tall nowadays. Maybe that's probably about, I don't know, 8 feet tall, and you can see the base here. Sugar cane is a grass, and these are the cane stalks here. Hopefully they're gonna grow and mature, and I'll actually be able to harvest some of this stuff and chew it with my teeth and get some nice sugar out of it. So let's talk about a few more cool, interesting things that I got growing. These are actually called Litchi tomatoes. It's in the Solanacea family. Here's the little beautiful flowers of the Solanacea, or the Litchi tomato. And here are the little fruits here. You'll know when the fruits are ready when there's like a little covering, like a helmet that actually opens up and allows you to pick the fruit. So they look like little berries right here. And this thing is all full of thorns. And there's a little Litchi tomato fruit right there. Tad bit sour, but I was just eating the Ashitaba that was like more medicinal. Tad bit sweet, lots of seeds, you could just crunch them up. It's good, unique, and actually it blooms first in the springtime. This is a perennial in my climate. It depending on where it's planted, the leaves might stay alive, or it might lose the leaves, but it'll come back pretty well next season and start fruiting for you once again. But you got to watch out, because these thorns will get you. They're probably worse than rose prickers, man. These are some hardcore thorns. If you're trying to keep animals out of your garden, just plant this all the way around, man. They're not going to come in. Or if you don't want any peeping toms at your window, plant one of these guys, man. Nobody's going to come around. Next in this raised bed, once again, which is my bordering raised bed, we got a pomegranate tree here, or more like a bush now because I haven't been training it. Going down here further, we got another fig tree, and this is a unique fig tree actually. This one's actually called the Janice seedless fig. Let's see if I can find a ripe one. And look at how this guy's just loaded up with all kinds of different figs on there. When a fig gets ripe, they're kind of hanging. The color will turn, so you can see this one's like turning color, but this one's even more a brilliant color. And if you look, instead of hanging out like this, they start to droop. So this one, it could be a little bit riper, but I'm gonna harvest it for you guys right now. Janice seedless fig. So this is a seedless fig. It's kind of cool because they don't got all those little crunchy bits. You know when you see fig Newtons when you're a kid, it'd be like crunch, 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 all little fig seeds. This one has very little, if any, and they're very small. So check it out. It's Janice seedless fig. I like this one. I tend to like the green figs more than the brown or the black ones. This one's a tad bit sweeter than the brown turkey I had, but because I have the Ashitaba in my mouth still, it's not as sweet as it could be. Kind of tastes like a medicinal fig today. So the next tree I got right next door to the fig, and they're kind of crossing over, is these guys right here. These are persimmons actually. And once again, these are gonna ripen up later in the season, probably around December time. And I like to leave them on the tree as long as possible so that they'll ripen up properly and get a nice deep color, and the sugars will get pretty high. See, back over here we got the tree that produced early in the season. I think it's actually putting on maybe some flowers or something now too. It's pretty cool. This one's actually called the sweet gomi tree, and these make some small little berry-like fruits that are a little bit, if you let them ripen all the way, they're a little bit sweet but also tart at the same time. I did a mono meal off those guys one time, they were quite good. Getting back here further, we got my little Swiss chard orchard. So I got a lot of Swiss chard just growing here. They just reseed themselves and keep coming back. Over here we got another really cool one. This is in the sunflower family. Here's a flower that you rarely see, and these flowers are like, I wish they'd make a perfume out of this. I'd love to smell a girl's neck like this. Wow, man, it smells like so sweet, but the sad thing is when you try to eat it, it's not that good. But anyways, these have some of the nicest smelling flowers aside from lang lang that I've ever smelled. But yeah, this is a Jerusalem artichoke. It's in the same family as sunflowers, but they make the edible tuber that I like so much, and the flowers are quite rare. I could just sit here all day and smell it. It's intoxicating. So next in this bed, we got a few cool things happening. This is kind of an experimental bed to see what would happen. We planted down here that we just cut back, actually this chicory style green called puntarelle. Now besides just making the leaves, it also actually makes this nice little head. Kind of looks like, I don't know, man, it's like the cross between like cauliflower and celery or something. It's totally a trip, and it tastes so delicious. It's a mild like vegetable, and I can't really even describe it. Like the texture, it's kind of like the texture of celery, but it tastes like more like lettuce. And I planted it a little bit late. It was like root bound, stressed out, so they immediately went to seed, and then they actually grew super tall and got all crazy, so we had to clip them back, and we're gonna see if they come back or see what happens because we cut them back. Let's see, in this row here we planted some onions that were getting shaded out because the puntarelle grew so big. And then up this trellis here, you guys can see I got a lot of the Artichokes. So the Artichokes, unlike in the first bed that I planted earlier, these were planted later, and these ones still have a lot of foliage, but not any flowers or fruit yet. So this is to let you guys know that, you know, basically these guys take a little bit of time before they start flowering and producing, a little bit longer season, because that's what they're used to in the tropics. So this next bed is where I have all these trellises built in, and I grew a few things this year. I grew some cucumbers, some squash, and some beans. So as you guys can see here, I got beans galore. Is that like Pussy Galore from James Bond? This is beans galore. Look at all these green beans here, just so many. This is only like a dozen plants, and I have green beans forever. So many different green beans, it's insane. Now, my favorite way to eat the green beans are to find some little baby green beans. I don't even like to eat the big ones, I just like to eat the babies. The big ones go to my friends, or I'll actually save the seed from them. Let me see if I can find some baby green beans here for you. Oh, here we go. Here's a nice little baby. It's nice and small, and I like to eat the baby ones right off the plant. Mmm. Nothing better than a home-picked green bean. It's like you're in the Garden of Eden. Now, besides just the green beans over in this bed here, I also have some other things that trellised up alongside the green beans. As you guys can see here, I got my favorite cucumbers. They're right here. You guys can see them. There's a little lemon cucumber. Go ahead and pop that guy off for you guys. And this plant is loaded up with all different kinds of lemon cucumbers. They have these little spines that I like to rub off it real quick before I eat it. And these cucumbers, unlike the standard green cucumbers that have that funny taste in the skin, no bitter skin, nice and clean. And my lemon cucumbers, because I'm growing them in rock dust, are a tad bit sweet. I've never tasted any other lemon cucumber that tastes as good as mine, but I might be prejudiced. All right, so in the bed closest to the house, where I'm also storing my rock dust and other things, we got a small bed that's pretty shaded out. So we plant some things that'll do fairly good in the shade. And what this is actually a type of nut sedge that's actually grown for the little underground seeds that it makes, that are kind of like more starchy than fatty, but they actually kind of taste a little bit fatty. And actually this is the same seed they used to make horchata out of in the olden days before they made it with rice. So it's originally from Spain. Definitely like it a lot. Now, aside from the nut sedge that comes back every year, and once you plant the nut sedge, you're probably not going to be able to get rid of it. It's kind of like that. We got another one that's actually hard to get rid of. It's actually called the New Zealand spinach. As you guys can see here, I have a bounty of New Zealand spinach, all that I could ever want to eat, all the leafy greens. It's related to spinach, but not like spinach too much. The Chenopodium family, I believe, and we're going to go ahead and eat that for you guys. Not bad. Kind of tastes like spinach, a little bit oxalic-y, has a weird flavor. I don't particularly care for it too much, but some people really like it. But the thing is that it grows really easily year-round without me having to do anything. So I think that's definitely a good food to grow, because in times of famine, I'll always have the New Zealand spinach to eat. So in this last raised bed here, I got some borage growing. I love to grow the borage for the little edible flowers here. I'll just take the flower and I'll pop it off just like this, and I'll be able to eat the flowers. Mmm. Definitely delicious. Kind of tastes like lettuce a little bit. You can actually also consume the leaves of the borage plant. They do have some little spiny things. They just kind of poke you, but they don't sting you. And they are edible. I generally like to eat the leaves of the borage when they're younger and just coming out the ground. Behind here we have what's called fish mint, or I think it's Hutina cordata. Now these guys look really cool. This guy's another thing that'll take over. The goal for this was to have this as an understory. And fish mint right here. Nice, unique flavor. A little bit drying in the mouth. Probably be good to season up some stuff, but not have a salad out of it. Now after eating that fish mint, I need something refreshing. So right below here, I have a couple earth boxes actually with some straight up mint planted. And I plant the mint in the earth boxes for a very specific reason, because mint are spreaders. If you plant them in a raised bed, they're going to take over your raised bed, and pretty soon in that raised bed, all you're going to have is mint. I don't necessarily want that to happen, but I do want to have mint available. So I plant them in little containers, and man, ooh, it smells really nice here. There's several different kinds of mint in this container here. This is my favorite kind. This is actually called the chocolate mint, and this is definitely good to, have outside your door to grab a little bit before your hot date. Freshen your breath. Mmm, so good. Woo! I got a minty fresh breath now. I could totally feel it, and it's kind of like nice and warm. Since I got a fresh breath, anybody want to go on a date? Any nice women out there? Had to try. Anyways, over in this area, what we got here are some seedlings coming up, and these are just volunteers of the bronze fennel, which I like a lot. I have videos on this. We're gonna let these guys grow up. And then next door, another one of my favorite perennial leafy green plants. This is actually called bloody dock or red vein sorrel. So when I'm going to eat it, I like to go in and pick the little small baby leaves right there. It's actually very decorative and almost ornamental, but yes, these are totally edible. They taste like sorrel, kind of that lemony flavor. You know, you might want to add a few to a salad, not make a salad out of it. One of the things I found to do with this stuff is actually I like to juice it, just a few leaves in a juice, and then I'll pick the larger leaves. Or the best thing is actually to make red vein sorrel chips out of it. So much like you'd make kale chips, I use the red vein sorrel as the leaf to put a batter on, dehydrate it, and then actually it'll taste a little bit salty without adding salt to, because that's what happens when you dehydrate the sorrel. So delicious. So by my front doorway in a wine barrel growing, because once again, you know, I try to make this use of every possible space in my house, my property, is I got this guy right here, and this is actually called pineapple sage. So if you like kind of smudge the leaves and smell it, smells kind of pineapple-y, and you can use the sage leaves as a sage, as a culinary. But why I'm growing these specifically are for the little flowers here. So I always encourage you guys to eat your foods of color. As you guys saw, many things in my garden are green that I'm eating, so I really like to grow things of different colors. When there's different colors in foods, that means there's different pigments in there. When there's different pigments in the plant, then that means there's probably different phytochemicals and phytonutrients and antioxidants in there. I'm really into eating a nutrient-dense diet, and you know, I'll just go ahead and pick these little flowers here, and right on the tip there, there's a little white cap. You guys see that? I like to just bite that little cap off. It's ever so sweet because there's like the little flower nectar in there. And another reason to plant these guys is because the hummingbirds love this. With the hummingbird's beak, sticks it all the way in there, and they get some of that nectar out. But I like to get the nectar out and then just eat the delicious flowers. That's good. So I hope you guys enjoyed that front yard garden tour. Literally, this is a food forest. I went over a good 85% of the things I growing right now, but I'm even seeing things right behind the camera person. Other things I'm growing that I didn't even get to share with you guys. You know, I have a limited amount of time, and the sun's going down. I still got to do a whole bunch more work in the garden today. But before I go, I want to share this last plant with you. I'm always on the search for new and exotic and rare crops to grow in my garden, and I was really excited when I found this at the 3rd Annual National Heirloom Expo. Check it out. It's a little plant with little fruits on it. A lot of them are unripe, and there's one that's ripe. And I asked the lady there that was selling these, and she said these are perennial in this climate. They'll keep the leaves and keep fruiting all year long, even outside in the freezing temperatures. So I don't know if that's going to happen yet. I'm going to plant some outside, some in the greenhouse unheated, to see how they do. But I thought I'd share it with you guys because I never heard of this plant before, and I'm quite intrigued. It's actually called the Jerusalem cherry. There's the tag. It's actually a Solanaceae plant. It's a Solanum pseudocapsicium, and it's from roots to fruits. It says perennial up to 12 inches tall, full sun, hardy to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm quite excited to see how this does, because if it does fruit year round, that's going to definitely be cool. Last thing I'm going to share with you guys today is there's a fruit that actually is dropped off it, so it's totally ripe. So I'm going to get to share with you guys what this new fruit that I've never tasted before in my life, and I've never seen before in my life either. So I'm glad to Roots to Fruits that makes these guys available, and now we're going to tell you how it tastes like. She said it tastes like a ground cherry, so we'll see how this tastes. So there's a little berry right there. Let's pop her up, and be careful, not all Solanaceae family plants are edible, so hopefully she's told me right and this one actually is. This thing doesn't taste like a ground cherry, man. This is completely ripe. I mean, I've had Luther Burbank Wonderberries taste better than this. To me, I taste some kind of like alkaloid-y type stuff. It's a little bit astringent. Not the best tasting thing in the world, man. I'd much rather have some of the Aunt Molly's ground cherries, even the standard Cape gooseberries, also known as Incan berries or Poha berries, than these guys. But nonetheless, they're pretty cool, and if they're frost hardy to 20, maybe I'll grow them in some rock dust and they'll maybe sweeten up a little bit. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of my front yard garden tour for the summertime. Once again, my name is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time, and remember, keep on growing. This is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you today, and today's topic is a subject that's very near and dear to my heart. Actually, it's one of the main